The latest findings that could be another boost for certain weight loss drugs like Wegovy. New research suggesting they might help in treating people with alcohol use disorder. So joining us to talk more about it is neurologist Dr. Leah Croll. Thanks for being here, Dr. Leah.
Yes.
According
Happy Saturday.
to the Happy Saturday to you. According to the 2023 National Survey on Drug Use and Health, nearly 29 million people ages 12 and older had alcohol use disorder in the previous year, a serious problem in the U.S. Break down this study for us.
So this is a small study out of Ireland. It looked at 262 people with obesity being treated with either semaglutide or liraglutide, both GLP-1 agonists. And essentially, the study found that people on these treatments had a significant reduction in their alcohol consumption. So on average in the study, alcohol use went down by about 3 drinks per week. And for the heaviest drinkers in the study, it went down by about 6 drinks per week, which comes out to a 68% reduction in alcohol consumption overall. Now, that's some very impressive numbers that we're talking about here. And it's all the more impressive and interesting because this is actually a larger treatment effect than what we see with drugs that are currently on the market for alcohol use disorder specifically. So there's a lot of reason to be excited and curious about the potential that these GLP-1 agonists may have for treating alcohol use disorder in the future. But I'm choosing that word potential very carefully because we're still waiting for that gold standard scientific evidence that can only come from large-scale clinical trials.
So, Dr. Leah, when we look at this study, what should we take into consideration here?
So when we're looking at the study, the first thing you want to take into consideration is that this is a study treating people with obesity. They were not treating people for alcohol use disorder. They just were monitoring data on their alcohol consumption while they were in treatment for obesity. So this study was not designed to really check for that. So that's one big caveat. And of course, its small size is another big caveat. But I think what the science is getting at here is that this GLP-1 hormone does so much more than just regulate our appetite and our weight. It obviously has a hand in many other bodily functions and behaviors, like we're seeing with this study, clearly does some regulation of our addiction circuitry within the brain. And that's why it sort of seems like every day there's another headline about a new use for this drug.
Right. Exactly. And as we hear these other headlines, how cautious should we be in approaching some of these things? It feels like at times it's too good to be true.
It does sort of feel like, what can't these drugs do? And are they really magic shots? And for some people, they might be. So some people do stand to have a lot of benefit from using drugs like these. But remember, these are new drugs on the scene. They are not without side effects and risks. We don't know much about long-term studies yet. So they're certainly not for everyone. And I really recommend that people have honest, thorough conversations with their doctors, starting with, am I a good candidate for this? Am I someone where the risks are okay for me to take because I stand to gain so much from the benefits of the drug? You want to be educated on side effects and how they fit into your life. You really need to know what your treatment plan is because many people are on these drugs for the long haul. So you want to know that going in. And of course, cost is an unfortunate reality that has to be considered here too.
Ask all the questions, do all the research. Dr. Leah Croll, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.